sequel? What am I, a hack?
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the new Lionsgate Clerks 3 4K Steelbook. That's a mouthful. But before we do that, if you guys are into movie reviews, 4K Blu-ray reviews, some tech and some video game stuff along the way, then please consider subscribing because we do all that here. So this is the latest installment in Kevin Smith's View Askew universe. Now, it all began way back with the original Clerks. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. I want to get that out in front. I've been with him since the original Clerks. I didn't see it obviously when it came out because I was a bit too young. But I think I came to the series during like Clerks 2 maybe was like one of my first introduction. Actually no, it was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was my first introduction to Kevin Smith. And I just fell in love, I love that dick and fart joke, raunchy comedy humor. And then there's still a through line where there's a little bit of drama, some romance, a lot of comedy, a little bit of action, and it's just all bundled up together, and that's a Kevin Smith movie. They're not Oscar movies or anything like that. They're just, a lot of these are acquired tastes. A lot of people are not huge Kevin Smith fans, but the people that are Kevin Smith fans are huge Kevin Smith fans. And I'm a pretty big Kevin Smith fan. I listen to all his podcasts. I watch a lot of his live shows and stuff like that. And me and John actually went to go see Clerks 3 live at the Beacon Theater in Manhattan, New York City. So getting this 4K Steelbook is a pretty big deal because if you're a Kevin Smith fan, some of his physical media stuff is kind of hard to come by. And this is actually the first 4K ever of a Kevin Smith movie. So this is a pretty big deal, especially for what they did here. This is a beautiful package, but we'll get to that. So again, Clerks 3 is the latest installment in the ever-running Clerks franchise, the View Askew universe, because the Jay and Silent Bob movies are connected, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, there's characters from all of these movies that kind of intertwine and cross paths and overlap, and basically the really main through characters here are Jay and Silent Bob, which is Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, and Silent Bob is Kevin Smith. He's the writer and director and editor, really, of all of these movies, and he's in pretty much every single one of his movies. I think the only ones that Kevin Smith is not really in are the ones that are not really in the View Askew universe, like Zack and Miri Make a Porno, Tusk. Although Tusk has some light connections to the View Askew universe, but there's that's a different video. So I'm a bit biased because, again, I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan, and we saw this movie live at the Beacon Theater, so it was kind of like a Marvel event type movie where you go and everyone in that room is huge fans of what they're about to watch, and just seeing what's on the screen, people exploding in the theater when someone walks across the screen for the first, like the opening of this movie, it's just kind of like an intro to all the characters, especially when we see Jeff Anderson, Randall Graves, because he's been absent for the past few Kevin Smith movies, and once we saw him come out, that theater just exploded. It was just so amazing. And then just the way this movie opens with the My Chemical Romance song. I loved it. I got so excited. I haven't felt like this since I watched Top Gun Maverick at home. That was like the last movie I can remember feeling like emotional and excited for the introduction of a movie, And again, it's a great ride. So I know a lot of people probably haven't seen this yet in theaters and probably didn't go on the Clerks tour to go see it live with Kevin Smith, which was awesome, and I highly recommend doing that next movie he puts out. But so I'm not going to spoil it too much, but basically Clerks revolves around Dante Hicks and Randall Graves. They're the main characters. They're the Clerks. They in this is part 3. They own the Quick Stop now. Part 2, they were in movies after they burnt down the Quick Stop, and they bought back the Quick Stop and they rebuilt it. That was the end of Clerks 2. So Clerks 3 starts where the Quick Stop is, that's their life now. They run this Quick Stop grocery convenience store, and they are clerks. So it's just a day in the life of the clerks. But they have pretty interesting lives. Well, it's a movie, so they make it interesting. So really, they don't have interesting lives either. They're 40, 50-year-old men that run a convenience store and talk about movies all day. But that's a great time for some people, and honestly, I don't know if I would mind doing that either. The whole working thing part sucks, but just talking movies, great time. They're playing hockey up on the roof. Opening scene with this, again, Kevin Smith likes to put all his buddies in his movies. He tries to bring back all the characters in this one. So the opening scenes, if you remember that show Comic Book Men that Kevin Smith was on, all the comic book men are up on the roof playing hockey on top of the Quick Stop, and that's a callback to the first one where they played hockey on top of the Quick Stop. So the Quick Stop really came around. Kevin Smith actually worked there when he was younger, and he filmed the original Clerks there. So that was kind of the story behind that. So now he owns the Quick Stop, the little shop that Jay and Silent Bob had, the video rental store / drug store, or whatever, the THC pot store, that he owns all that stuff now. So it's just really cool that he was just so passionate, and he lives in California. This is in New Jersey, so he bought that, and he made a brand out of it. The Quick Stop is a Kevin Smith thing. It's a brand now. The last two Clerks movies were amazing movies. The original just got put into the Library of Congress for being culturally significant. That was hard to get out for some reason.
Hey pal, you just blowing from Stupid Town?
And Clerks 2, I think Clerks 2 is a funnier movie than the original. It's definitely a little more lighthearted, but it's still a fantastic movie. And this one, I think he really went back to his roots, where he's really trying to tell you something. Like, Clerks 2 was more of a comedy. There was a message there, but not really. But there's definitely a message in this movie. And there's not too many movies where I get messages or see like the deeper meaning of a movie. But I think I got it with Clerks 3. And it's really, I wouldn't say it's about second chances, but I would say it's more of, don't take for granted what you have, don't waste your life, and just do what makes you happy. And so I'm going to talk some spoilers now. So Randall has a heart attack pretty early in the movie, and he survives the heart attack. So he decides, all right, I have a second chance now. I'm going to make a movie. So now it's called Inconvenience, but he's making Clerks. So they're remaking Clerks in this. Not kind of scene for scene, like all the major highlights of the original, but that was their lives. Like the first one wasn't a movie of a movie, where this one is a movie of a movie, where he's basically reenacting a lot of the scenes from the original. They bring back all the characters, the guy checking the eggs, the Truly's gum guy that tries to get people to quit smoking because he's just trying to sell his tobacco gum or anti-tobacco gum. They bring back Elias from the second one, and he's hysterical in this movie. He was the guy who loved Jesus and just all about Jesus. He's still a virgin, and he still lives with his parents. But this one, he goes opposite, and he starts to worship Satan because he blames Randall's heart attack on him, because he prayed to Jesus that he would be okay, and Jesus didn't answer him. He didn't get like a definitive answer, so he said, all right, now Jesus isn't real. Now I'm praying to Satan. And then he goes over this whole entire transformation, and just every scene he gets even crazier and crazier. He starts wearing face makeup and this crazy clothes. It's hysterical. Elias is an awesome character, and I'm so glad they brought him back for this movie. They even brought back Veronica in this movie, which was one of Dante's girlfriends at the time in the original, and they broke up after he found out she sucked 37 dicks. And they just keep throwing around the number 37, and it's just so hysterical. The comedy in these movies are amazing. This is my type of comedy. I love this stuff, and I just love Kevin Smith movies. So they are making the movies Inconvenience, and it's basically Clerks. And one thing I liked what they really did was, whenever they're filming, because they're filming in black and white. Now, the entire movie's in color. However, there's a few scenes that are in black and white because those are meant to be what the camera in the movie sees. So when they're filming Inconvenience, they're filming it in black and white. And then there's this scene towards the end where, we're talking spoilers. So there's a scene in the end where Dante has his heart attack. And right before that, they're filming the scene where Randall's playing with the chip and the salsa, and it would go back and forth between color, Dante's part, and then black and white on Randall's part. So Randall's still, he's just saying his lines for the movie, where Dante is, he's starting to say his lines, and then he's just so fed up with Randall because Randall's, he's a selfish character, and everything's about him, and Dante's just fed up with life at the time. His one happiness he had, Rosario Dawson's character, Becky, she ended up dying in between movies. She was hit by a drunk driver while she was pregnant with their kid. And so you just, very early on in the movie, you see on the cash register, it says R.I.P. and I guess it was the funeral card or something like that. So he comes in and he stares at this every day, and he's just fed up with the customers. He's fed up with Randall. He's fed up with being alone, and he just finally snaps. And in between their dialogue, it'll go from black and white to color, and all the color scenes are basically showing that he's not acting anymore. This is what he actually feels. He's telling the truth to Randall. He's not filming the scene. He's had enough. And then he gets up, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't in the scene. He's like, "Nah, fuck this," and then he just overworks himself. He stresses it. He's freaking out. He's having over the top. He's had enough, and he just has a heart attack and drops to the floor. And then, so Randall finally realizes what happened. They get him to the hospital, and now Randall runs home, and he's working on his movie. Now it's like, because he thinks it's his fault. So now he works on his movie, and he re-edits the whole thing because Dante wasn't really a big part of it. And then he finally realizes that Dante is the main character of his movie. He's the star. That's his best friend. So he finally shows him the movie, and on his deathbed, basically, because he shows him the movie, Dante, he flatlines, and that's it. We lose Dante, and Randall is just like, what the fuck? But he made the movie. He finished the movie. Dante got to see it before he died. It's just a pretty sad ending, because Dante was an awesome character. He was the main character, him and Randall, they co-starred. This is Clerks. This is Dante's movie. And it's kind of sad to see him go, but I guess Kevin Smith has some plans, because it doesn't look like this is going to be the end of the Clerks series. I think there's going to be a Clerks 4, but I think the next movie in line is Mallrats. There's a new Mallrats, Twilight of the Mallrats, I believe he's titling it. But I mean, overall, it was a great movie. You really get emotional when you're connected to, because we just did a full watch through of the entire Kevin Smith movies, so you get attached to these characters, so watching this the second time, you get a little emotional, especially seeing Dante die and Randall's bawling his eyes out because that's his best friend. He's got nobody now. He jokes around and he says now Elias is my best friend, but Elias isn't his best friend, it was Dante. But I'm pretty curious to see what Kevin Smith does in the next Clerks movie, because there definitely will be another one. So overall, I missed some stuff for sure, but those are the key elements of the plot and what I really got out of the movie. And again, I thought it was a great movie. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I really loved it. But again, I saw it live with a theater full of people that are huge Kevin Smith fans, so it kind of made it a little bit different of an experience. But overall, I still think the movie is fantastic. And what's even more fantastic is this Lionsgate 4K Steelbook. So again, the significance of this is pretty amazing, because again, this is the first 4K Kevin Smith movie. Now, I have a complete Kevin Smith collection. I have all his movies on Blu-ray, but some of them are out of print. Like, I think Dogma and Red State are like some of the harder movies to get on Blu-ray. I have them all. I have that Arrow Video Mallrats. I have whatever you can get for Kevin Smith movies. I have that. I got a signed lunchbox from when we went to go see this movie live, so that's pretty cool. That's Kevin Smith's signature on there, tin lunchbox. So again, I am a pretty big Kevin Smith fan, but I am a huge fan of this Steelbook. So Lionsgate makes some awesome Steelbooks, and this is no exception. This actually might even be my it's easily in my top 3. It might even be my number 1 Steelbook of all time. So we have a slipcover over the Steelbook, right? So I love when they do that, because boom, we have all our information. We have our synopsis, we have our runtime, you know, all the stuff you like to have. I hate when you get a steelbook and there's nothing on the back except art. The art's beautiful, sure, but I like to have this. So when they put a slipcover on a steelbook, it's my favorite thing, especially when it's gorgeous like this. So once we pop off that slipcover, we have the real main characters of the movie, which are Dante and Randall. You got Rosario Dawson on there. There's Elias's character and his crazy. Actually, I think no, these are both Elias because he that was, Randall's like, Blade Runner, cool. But you know, everything's a movie reference to Randall. It's awesome. There's Jay and Silent Bob down there again. There's everybody up on the roof of the Quick Stop playing hockey. It's just the colors are awesome. This is gorgeous. And then once you pop this bad boy open, even on the inside in here it says first pressing. I wonder if they'll all say that. That's weird. I've never seen that before. So even the disc art on the discs, this is a treat right here. So you pop that open, and again, I'll pull these discs out just so you can see what it actually looks like. So that's the inside of the steelbook. That's pretty awesome because a lot of the times you'll get just plain blue or red or whatever in here, and they went all out on this steelbook. Especially to put disc art on the disc. Come on, this is the complete total package because the slipcover, the steelbook, the disc art, this is an amazing steelbook. I absolutely love this. I wish all steelbooks would have the slipcovers and have this much detail and just love and care put into it because this is an amazing piece. Love it. So let's talk visual quality. This does not have Dolby Vision, it just has plain old HDR, but that's fine because it looked fantastic. You know, this is the best a Kevin Smith movie has ever looked. It's shot on modern cameras, so you know, it looks good. Again, it's not Top Gun Maverick theater reference quality disc, but it looks great. You know, I have zero complaints. I thought it looked amazing on my OLED TV. We also saw this, again, we saw this in the Beacon Theater in New York City, Manhattan, where it was on like a projector and, you know, it wasn't a proper movie theater, so that wasn't the best viewing experience. It looked good still, it sounded good there, you know, it was fine, but this just blows away that experience that I had. But again, it's a good looking 4K. It's a brand new movie shot on modern technology, so we expect it to look good. But compared to the Blu-ray in the box, you know, it's not a huge jump, I don't think. Again, because it's not a movie where the colors are like all over the place. They're inside the convenience store, so it's a lot of white and just the products on the shelf. A lot of that stuff will be pretty vibrant. You know, the HDR was there. There's no Dolby Vision, not too many dark scenes at all, except that one scene where, be quiet, it's nighttime. Jay comes outside. That's a good one. But that's like the only really nighttime scene where there's a lot of the black and white stuff. So again, I thought the 4K is definitely a little bit better than the Blu-ray on there, but it's not a huge jump. But I think the 4K Steelbook is where having the 4K is definitely worth it, because I don't think you can get the Blu-ray by itself in this Steelbook. As far as audio goes, this does have a Dolby Atmos track, but so does the Blu-ray. Yes, this does have a Dolby Atmos track on both this. The Blu-ray and the 4K both have Dolby Atmos tracks on there, so that's pretty cool, because there's not a lot of Blu-rays out there with Dolby Atmos tracks. That's mainly a 4K thing. And there is a ton of special features. You know, there's audio commentaries with almost all of the actors, Kevin Smith, Jeff Anderson, Brian O'Halloran, you know, all the main characters are doing audio commentaries. There's a documentary, we're not even supposed to be here today, 3 decades of Clerks documentary, deleted scenes, alternate scenes, and the theatrical trailer. So this is pretty loaded with special features. That's a lot of the Kevin Smith movies are like that. He's big into all that stuff. And even one thing I did want to note, in the beginning of this movie, as soon as you pop it in, Kevin Smith comes up on the screen and he just thanks you for buying the physical product, because I think it was the Jay and Silent Bob reboot movie sold so well, and Lionsgate was like, hey, can you make more movies like this to make us money? And he's like, yeah, I can. And then he starts making these movies because we bought the physical media. So he basically thanks us for buying physical media. So, you know, it really does help. And it shows here, because look at the thought and the care they put into this Steelbook. So again, visual quality, great. You know, it's a brand new movie, modern technology, it looked fantastic. You know, it's, I guess you could say it's visually it's a 10, you know, but it's not that type of movie where you're really studying it. This is something different. So yes, visually it's beautiful. The Dolby Atmos track, it actually really pumps in some scenes because there's some dance scenes with some music and stuff like that. So the Dolby Atmos track, awesome. And again, this Steelbook, this is fantastic. So overall, this is a 9 out of 10 release for me. Actually, I'm going to say 9.5 release for me because I love the movie. I absolutely love the Steelbook. Having a Kevin Smith on 4K for the first time, amazing. The only negative I give it is I wish it would have had Dolby Vision paired with the Dolby Atmos because that's usually the best. But again, visually, it's still fine. I have zero complaints about it visually. So, you know, it's not really the biggest deal, but it would have been maybe like 5% better with Dolby Vision. But again, it still looked good, no big deal. So again, 9.5 out of 10 on this one. Amazing 4K Steelbook. Pick this one up before it runs out because this is gonna go quick if they're even still available. But if you guys do wanna pick this up, we'll put a Amazon affiliate link down in the description if you want to grab this. But this actually might be a Best Buy 4K Steelbook exclusive. So this might, because I got mine through Best Buy. So if you guys want to grab this, it might only be a Best Buy thing. But if there is one, we will put an Amazon link down in the description. And you guys can grab it from there.
Hey everyone, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed a review of Clerks 3 on 4K. And just to add on to what Bat says, that is definitely one of the most beautiful 4K Steelbooks I've ever seen. It's phenomenal. I was blown away by the artwork that they did for that, and yeah, it really did just knock my socks off how beautiful that 4K Steelbook was. But we're here to handle a little bit of business here today on the channel. So it's Friday, and if you're new to the channel, we do this every single week. We do a digital code giveaway, and all you have to do to enter that digital code giveaway is answer one of the 2 questions I'm about to ask you. And then you come back to Monday's video, we put your name on a wheel that I'll have on this screen right behind me. We spin that bad boy 2 times, the 2 names that it lands on. Those are this week's 2 winners, and those 2 people have their choice of a digital code that you've seen on your screen before you today. But what are this week's 2 questions, you may be asking yourself? Well,
in honor of Clerks 3 and a brand new Kevin Smith movie on 4K, we'll ask a question. You know, John gets to ask the questions all the time, and sometimes they're a little stale in my opinion.
Oh, you motherfuckers. Okay.
So, you know, I want to, you know, this one's not really going to be any much better than something he would ask, but what's your favorite Kevin Smith movie? Are you into Kevin Smith movies? Do you have them all on Blu-ray? But, like, what's your favorite Kevin Smith movie? What do you like about the Kevin Smith movies? How many of them do you own on physical media? Are you going to pick this one up on physical media? You know, answer some of those questions down below, and we'll let John ask you another question.
Also, in honor of comedy this week, I thought I'd ask you, what's your favorite decade for comedy films? If you have a favorite decade of comedy films, what is your favorite decade for comedy films? Is it the 80s? Is it the 90s? Is it the 2000s? Who knows? Let us know in the comment section below. And all you have to do is answer one of those questions. If you don't want to answer the other one, you don't have to. We won't stop you if you do, but all you got to do is answer one to be entered in the digital code giveaway. And again, guys, thank you so much for entering into this giveaway. We really do appreciate it. We just love having these conversations in the comments with you guys about your favorite movies. It really also helps us to find new movies. You guys really do give us some great recommendations. And if you think we're ignoring you, we're really not. We really do add these movies to our watch lists. And eventually we do get to them, and you guys have given us some great recommendations of movies that I've never seen before and that have become favorites of mine. It's really great, guys. Thank you so much for entering. It really does mean the world to us. And another thing that really does help the channel out is by you liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and then telling all your friends.
And I assure you, this is a good 4K disc.